Hey guys, it's Joey Gaming, and welcome to the Joey Gaming 13 Nights of Halloween. It's an annual Halloween series that I do on the channel, and this year is no exemption. Starting out, we're going to go ahead and talk about liminal spaces. Liminal spaces are quite interesting, and honestly, they're a little bit complicated, but I'll try to go ahead and explain the best that I can about what a liminal space is. However, before we get into the video, I just want to let you guys know that a lot of you guys are not subscribed yet. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe. I'm trying to reach 8,000 subscribers by the end of October. So if you enjoyed today's video, please go ahead and subscribe. You can always unsubscribe in the future. Alright, so a liminal space, what are they? So a liminal space, like I said in the intro, is kind of hard to describe, right? It's kind of controversial on what the term of a liminal space is. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about my interpretation on what a liminal space is. Personally, a liminal space in my head is that it's a location or place, and what it is that it's a place or location out of context, right? And there's something weird or odd about that said location. For example, let's go ahead and take a school, for example, a school hallway to be more precise. So a school hallway, right? When you think of a school hallway, you think of kids or high schoolers or something, right? Transitioning between classes. Now take that said hallway and remove all the students. That is eerie because the intended purpose of a school hallway is for kids or teenagers or whatever, or teachers to use to travel between places. Outside of that niche role, that hallway is empty, right? Which makes sense. Now to move it to the next step, let's go ahead and imagine that school hallway, that same exact school hallway, and now put it in the dark at night, right? Now you totally change the context on how that school hallway is used, right? You're now putting this random place that is supposed to be used in one context, and now it's in a different context, right? A school hallway is supposed to be used by a bunch of people, right? Transitioning between rooms and stuff, and it's going to be used in the middle of the day. But now this school hallway is empty and it's in the dark. We typically see school hallways in, you know, when we were in school, right? You would see a school hallway in the middle of the day being used by students. When it's not being used in that purpose and it's at a different time of day, it's kind of weird, and it gives off that weird uncanny valley vibe because it was built for a totally different context. That's basically what a liminal space is. Another good example of a liminal space would be, you know, like any place, a pool or a playground, right? It's full of like people and it's supposed to be inhabited, right? There's supposed to be some sort of population behind it, right? Those places are super eerie and creepy when it's completely empty. And this is more the fact when it's in the middle of the night, right? If it's dark, it's night, it's empty, it gives off that weird vibe to it, right? Gives off that weird uncanny valley vibe. This is basically what a liminal space is, right? In my opinion, a liminal space, in my opinion, is that it's a nostalgic place, right? That is taken out of its regular context, and we see it in a light that we normally don't see it, right? For example, again, you typically don't see school hallways at night because, you know, most people are not at a school at night, and most people are not at a pool at night, so you don't really see a dark pool usually. So what we're going to do today is that I'm going to go ahead and react to some liminal spaces on Reddit. The subreddit that I'm on today is called r/liminal space. They usually have some really, really good liminal spaces, so we're going to go ahead and react to some. The first image we're going to go ahead and react to is this image right here. And as you can tell, there's a lot of pink, there's a lot of purple, and it's very, very nostalgic. To me, I get the vibe of an arcade. I can imagine there being like tons and tons of arcades. It kind of reminds me of Backrooms level 25. If you don't know what the Backrooms are, it's basically a bunch of liminal spaces, really. It's just full of hallways. There's monsters. It's really cool. I have a whole Minecraft series on it. If you haven't yet, go ahead and take a look at it. I may or may not be doing a season 2 very, very soon, so keep your eye out on that. Basically, yeah, this kind of reminds me of level 25 of the Backrooms, kind of, because of the pink and purple, minus the arcade machines. I can imagine this being an arcade place at one time or point. For me personally, this place is super nostalgic. Is it my all-time favorite liminal space? No, not really, but it's very, very liminal. That's all I'm gonna say. Alright, so this next one I have a bit of a bias for, and that's because I'm part of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, aka the Mormon Church. A lot of people would call my church a cult. I disagree, but I'm not going to get into that in today's video. With the context out of the way now, here's the next liminal space. For me personally, this liminal space is super, super nostalgic for me. The reason for that is that growing up, me and my family would rent out LDS churches, and we would throw birthday parties, baptism parties, and even one year we had Thanksgiving inside of an LDS church. I know that sounds crazy, but my family was huge. I have 15 cousins, all on my dad's side, and no, that's not an exaggeration. So these LDS churches are like perfect for that. I'm not sure how easy it is to rent out an LDS church. I'm not sure if that's something that the church does on a frequent basis, or if you need to know someone. I really don't know. All I know is that growing up, I had all sorts of crazy parties at an LDS church, and me and my cousins would have a fun time. LDS churches, in my opinion, are like awesome liminal spaces. I'm not exactly sure why that's the case. My best guess is that, well, the interior of an LDS church is very simplistic. You got to understand is that inside of a LDS church, you got like very simple colors, right? The floor, right, outside of like the gym and like the bathrooms and kitchen or whatever, is very simple. You just have carpet, and the carpet is just one simple color, and then the walls and stuff, they're very simple. They're very plain. They're like very simple colors. And then even then, in the hallways, the decorations are very sparse. You have like a few paintings of Jesus Christ and a few other things. And then occasionally you got like a water fountain and couches and stuff. And that's really about it. Everything else is just very plain, simple. And I don't know, an LDS church is just very, very liminal. What we would do at these parties with my cousins, and keep in mind we were like super young, probably not the most mature thing nowadays, but me and my cousins, we would like play tag, play hide and seek and stuff inside the church, and it's just a lot of fun. One year my cousin was like turning 8 or 12, I don't know. It was quite a bit of time, but my cousin was turning a certain age, and they decided that they were going to do a Star Wars themed party. And what we did is that we brought in Nerf guns and toy lightsabers, and my cousin, he got a toy lightsaber, and this toy lightsaber was awesome. It glowed in the dark and stuff. So what we did is that we would have lightsaber duels in the church hallways. The thing with church hallways is that some of the hallways had lights on, and some other hallways had their lights out, so it was off. And in the dark parts of the LDS church, me and my cousin would have these insane lightsaber duels with these glow-in-the-dark lightsabers, and it was awesome. It felt like being on the Death Star. So growing up, LDS churches were a lot of fun, even though they were not the best looking, like although they were very, very boring looking. LDS churches have like a special place in my heart for being super nostalgic, and that's why I believe LDS churches are perfect liminal spaces. The next liminal space we got is this image right here of a mall, and inside this mall is a playground slash airplane, like an airplane playground. It's kind of weird to explain, and it's just very, very odd to me because it is very, very empty, and the only thing in the image is this airplane, like this playground airplane thingy, and green carpet. Super strange, super empty, and I don't know if I would say nostalgic, like I've felt like I've been here before, but it's definitely unsettling and definitely a liminal space. Alright, so this next liminal space is definitely what I would consider a liminal space that I like. And what is super strange is that the entire floor or ground of this entire place is made out of that one carpet that we all had as a child, right? Where it's a bunch of roads and like buildings and stuff from a top view. For some reason, this entire place is entirely made out of that when it comes to the ground. And then on top of that, you have all the homes, right? And for some reason, liminal spaces like to have the same home repeated over and over again. I don't know why. Very dreamlike, very weird, definitely strange, right? And what else I find very, very strange about this image is the sky, right? It looks like this entire building, right? This entire place takes place in a building, right? Like, this is not outside. This is like inside of a building, right? Like, it looks like the sky was painted on like the walls, the ceiling. I don't know. It looks like it was made indoors. Definitely an awesome looking liminal space. This next liminal space takes place in a hotel, and as you can tell, there's not a lot of people, and it's very, very empty. It's either dusk or dawn, like either the sun is setting or it's coming up. It's definitely in blue hour because of the sky. Very strange photo indeed. The next liminal space we got is this bingo hall, and apparently this photo is taken at 4 a.m. And as you can tell, very empty, very liminal. Honestly, there should be a bunch of old people playing bingo here, and we don't see that. So very liminal, very liminal space we got here. Very creepy. I can definitely see this being a Backrooms level. The next photo we got is this image right here, and it's definitely not real. I would actually consider this dreamcore because, you know, there's no way in hell this actually exists. And when I say dreamcore, I mean actually dreamcore. This is something that I can definitely see in my own dreams. Very nostalgic, and I also have a thing for pools. I don't know why. I just love pool or water-related liminal spaces. I don't know why. I think pools are just fun growing up, and I just love pools for some reason. So, the next one we got is this inflatable church or whatever, and what really caught my attention is the low quality of this image, right? What contributes to a liminal space, and it doesn't have to be a requirement, but it's the low quality. The low quality just shows that, oh yeah, this is a strange photo. I don't know why. It's just, I don't know. If the quality is bad, it just adds to the liminal space for some reason. The next photo we got here is a image of a castle in this middle of this field or whatever, and honestly, I get Wizard of Oz type of vibes from it. I don't know why. I think it's just the colors and the grass. It just screams Wizard of Oz, right? I can picture this being in Kansas or whatever. This is definitely another weird dreamcore one, right? This is not a real image either. It's definitely photoshopped, but who knows? Maybe it does exist. I highly doubt it does. Super strange image, right? I can't really describe it. It just, you know those like images that you look through at the eye doctor, right? And it's like, oh, do you see the blimp or the castle? It's kind of similar to that, kind of. This next photo we got is a image of New York City back when the Twin Towers were still around, and obviously the big thing about this photo is the Twin Towers, right? It's the first thing that you look at when you see that photo, and obviously it doesn't exist anymore because of the attacks on 9/11, right? But the weird thing about this image too is that it feels like a dream, right? And the fact that everything is blue. I feel like someone took this image and just like put in a bunch of blue, like they shifted the tint, right? The tint bar to the left to make it blue. So, I don't know. That's just kind of how I feel. Like, on top of it being, like, the Twin Towers, which in itself is just weird because, you know, the Twin Towers no longer exist. It just feels like a dream. There's no people, right? The only color you got is, like, green and red from the car. And, I don't know. Strange photo. Definitely dreamlike. The next liminal space we got is a liminal space of this ski park or whatever. I'm not exactly sure. And the main thing that sticks out for me is that it's foggy. Like, look how foggy it is. And on top of that, the quality of the photo isn't good either. It's horrendous, but that's a good thing. Like, it adds to the photo, right? When it comes to liminal spaces, bad quality can equal good quality. I'm not sure why that's the case, but sometimes the bad quality just reminds you about the time, like, oh yeah, back then cameras were like really bad. So I don't know, kind of strange how bad camera quality can add to an image, but it does, which is super interesting. What else is really interesting about this photo is that growing up, I hated skiing, right? Like, I didn't really like it. Like, it was fun at first, sure, but after that, I didn't really enjoy it, right? It's just, I just find it really hard to ski. I didn't really enjoy it. So, I don't know. I don't really have a lot of good memories skiing outside of, like, a few times. But for some reason, I find this image very nostalgic. Alright guys, so I'm going to end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Stay tuned, more content's coming out very, very soon, and I can't wait. This year for Halloween is going to be amazing. With that, I'm going to end the video, so thank you for watching. Bye.